Hi everyone, it's Karen here and welcome back to my channel. Today I have some very exciting news as we are having a YouTube hop again. This time it's an art journaling YouTube hop with a few of my friends from around the world. We have amazing sponsors as you can see here, and all you have to do is just subscribe to each of the channels and leave a comment, and a lucky winner will be chosen randomly from different channels, and you will win prizes from the different sponsors that we have here. This YouTube hop only focuses on art journaling, and each artist created a unique art journaling page following their style. I created an art journaling page in the 6x9 Joggles art journal. I took the page out of the disc-bound journal so I could apply different things to it, and therefore I could have it all flat and it wouldn't warp. I wanted to create a journal that was really textured. I love adding texture to my art journaling page. So one of my favorite things to do is use different materials, especially if they're recycled or even crafty materials, to add texture to my art journaling pages. In this case, I wanted to add lace or trim, and I grabbed my box full of lace, and using soft matte gel medium, which I applied to the background, I started applying different types of lace trims to the background. I cut them in different sizes and started applying them from the top of the journal going down to create movement. I wanted to use different types of lace trims so it would create a different type of texture in the background. The different size lengths and also the different widths and designs of the lace created a really nice effect in the background. So it's a good idea if you've been collecting a lot of lace over the years and you don't know what to do with it, and you want to use it for something different than just using it for cards and scrapbooking, then you can go ahead and put it into mixed media and art journaling. You can use the same techniques that I'm doing here and just create texture on any type of project, whether it is a canvas or an altered project. It's just gluing things, and the best way to glue it is with the soft matte gel because it keeps it matte, but also it's very soft and it doesn't bunch up, so you still get the lace texture to come out and resurface. Last week I created another type of art journaling page, but that time I used tape. I use different types of texture tapes like masking tape, washi tape, and even drywall tape, and it created amazing texture in the background. This time I want to focus on lace and trims, and just to show how you can create different types of textures depending on what you use in the background. I'm really excited to be a part of this art journaling YouTube hop, not only along with many of my friends who are super uber talented, but also to help and promote each other and also bring amazing content to everybody who loves art journaling, who wants to start art journaling and doesn't know where to start. There's going to be so many different styles that you can learn from, and that helps you kind of narrow down what you like and what you don't like and go from there. So you can learn different techniques and you can learn about inspire yourself from different things that you see, and then you can go ahead and mimic things or just learn things or create things, and it will encourage you and hopefully inspire you to create. And that's the main focus, that we want to do that. It's really important to know that if you want to enter the giveaway, you go ahead and you leave a comment in each one of the videos, and we encourage you to subscribe to each of the channels. That way you'll know when the winners are announced. Prizes are open internationally, so anybody can win. All you have to do is leave a comment. There's no restrictions on where the prizes are being sent to. You have until Friday, April 25th to enter the giveaway, and winners will be announced on June 1st in each of our blogs. So make sure stay tuned and maybe follow people on their blogs too. This is not a necessary step, but if you want to find out the winners, then you can do that by following our blogs. I let the background with the gel dry overnight. You don't have to let it dry overnight. You can definitely heat set it if you want to, but I had to do other things, so it was just easier to just leave it to dry. I didn't glue lace everywhere, I only glued it in certain areas, of course going down and creating that movement as if it was sticks going down the page. Then I took the heavy white gesso from Prima Finnabair and gave a good coverage to the background. I had to add a little bit of water just to dilute it a little bit, but most of it, I just wanted to make sure that I cover the whole background with white gesso so it's prepped for the next step. And then I dried it really well with my heat tool. Once it was dry, I wanted to add some color, and I debated a long time whether I wanted to use sprays or to use acrylic paints to color the background. Basically, you can use any type of coloring agent to color in any type of art journaling page, but I really wanted something to be very bright and colorful. So I decided at the end to go with the impasto paints from Prima Marketing Finnabair, and I chose three colors: Jade, Green Apple, and Heather. I started with the lightest color, which is the Green Apple, and I applied it to the top of my layout, and then it was a little bit of water to just dilute it so that way it would drip down the page. Then I went with the second color, which is the Jade color. It's a beautiful turquoise-like color, and I did the same thing. I let it drip down the page and the color to go in between the texture of the lace. Finally, I went with the third color, which is the Heather, and did the same thing, let it drip down the page, just to add some color to the background. I realized though that when I was diluting the color, it was giving me a very light version of what I actually wanted. I really wanted it to be quite bright. So what I decided to do is, instead of dilute it on the background, I decided to add the impasto paints onto my mat and then dilute it a little bit with water by spraying each color. That way the colors would be easier to apply. And then I started basically painting with them and creating movement going down the page using those three colors and blending them with each other. I love working on a mat like you see here. This is a Ken Oliver mat, and it's really great. I've had it for quite a while. It's one of my favorite ones, only because it's not only easy to clean, but it has a static cling, so anything that you put on it, it does not move while you're working with it. And it basically cleans everything. Sometimes you'll see my mat super dirty, and then it cleans so easily. So if you're looking for a mat or you want to buy a really good one, I highly recommend this one, and I'm linking it below in the description area along with all the other products to where you can buy this specific Ken Oliver mat. I have the large version of it, but there's two sizes depending on your working space. I continue to add color to the background, and basically I end up covering everything because I just wanted to have color everywhere. So between those three colors, I start coloring even the opposite side. I do spray a little bit of water every once in a while just to have everything blend in nicely together. And I just randomly add the colors in different places and try to balance them across the page. I make sure that I'm painting vertically. That way I get that movement going up and down in the same direction as the lace. I heat set this layer really well because I wanted to add more color and I did not want it to blend with the ones that I was going to add. These colors are permanent once they're dry because they're acrylic paint, so it's really easy to blend other colors on top. I took two new colors, which is the crimson and the cobalt blue, and these are a little bit darker, so I knew I wanted to add highlights of them afterwards. So I still have those lighter colors underneath and I have those darker ones here. Again, I added water to them, and then I started adding lines of those two colors going up and down from different directions, again following the same movement I had originally followed. The cobalt blue gave that really nice dark tone to the background, which is what it needed to kind of tie it all in together. And it helped to bring out those beautiful textures from the lace. I even went back and added a little bit more of the green apple because once I blended all the colors, the light colors blended too much and they were kind of hiding in the background. So I went back and added some of that green apple color. That way it would mix with all the darker colors as well. I heat set this layer really well as well. And then I figured that I always like adding black to my art journals. Not everybody does that, but somehow I love adding black. I find that it ties it all in, it frames the art journal, and it makes everything look really amazing. So I decided to add a little bit of black, but in this case, I just wanted it to drip like I had done before. So I wet the whole background with water and then added the black at the edges on the top and let it drip down the page. The more water I added, the more it dripped and the more it went in between the lace. And that helped to bring out those beautiful textures to the background and to really show them because it created shadows underneath the lace as the black was going in between all the textures. Then I liked how it looked so much that I ended up creating a border with the black, basically just using my paintbrush and just painting a border around the edges. I already had the black border at the tops, so it was only necessary to add the borders on the three other sides. And what I did is I made sure that they're not even because I don't like to have just a line. I wanted to make sure that it even drips a little bit into the center as well, especially from the bottom. That way it doesn't look like it's even. Of course, I heat set this layer as well to make sure that any embellishment I would add on top would glue perfectly on top. Now for the embellishment, I chose a wooden die cut tree. I love trees. If you see, I use a lot of trees in my art journaling pages as well as butterflies, but I do love trees a lot. And I recently got this one. It's actually made out of MDF wood. And what I did is I found it and I had to have it because it's just so beautiful and I knew I wanted to add it to my art journal page. I might not be able to find this exact replica of the tree in order to put in the description area with all the links, but I did find a couple trees that are similar that you could basically use to replicate this art journal page. This tree I got abroad when I went on my trip to Colombia, so that's why you can't really get it here, but I really wanted to use it because I thought it fit this perfectly. I really felt that the background looked like kind of northern lights, so I don't know, I just wanted to put a bare tree and I painted it in black with the same black impasto paint and I added it to the background. So I did find a couple of trees that are similar to this and I added them to the supply list below. Now when I put the tree down and because I had painted it in black, it looked really dark behind the tree and it was kind of getting lost. So I felt like I needed to add a little bit of the impasto paint behind with the lighter colors, which was the green apple and the jade, just because I felt that way I could put the tree on top and it would kind of stand out from behind. I felt that when the darker colors were behind, you couldn't see the branches of the tree or the tree trunk was getting lost. So I started adding some of the colors just to highlight behind the tree, and I kept on measuring where the tree was to make sure that it actually stood out perfectly. And once I was happy with the colors and where I had placed them, then it was perfect to glue the tree. But I had to make sure that the colors were bright behind the tree. That way it wasn't getting lost in the background. So that's why you see me here adding more color. Although I had already dripped the black on top, this area behind the tree stayed the way it is and I didn't go back and added any black into the dripping areas between the texture. I left it all bare and just left that beautiful bright color behind the tree. So it does look kind of like northern lights. So that's what it felt like to me. And then I just complemented the colors around because I had removed some of that purplish color, so I made sure that I added it back in to the background, but in different areas where not underneath the tree. I used the Prima Finnabair soft matte gel to glue the tree to the background. I just added some gel onto the back of the tree and then I went ahead and glued it to the background. I used a palette knife to just add some of the glue behind the tree onto the branches, but just make sure that I didn't add too much. That way it doesn't stick out from underneath. But you can always clean up any excess from underneath the tree by using a little paintbrush or a wipe. So it's not a problem. You can always clean that up as well. I also chose 3 words from the Tim Holtz sticker pad, which said, "Find the courage." And this spoke perfectly to what I wanted to say in this art journal. Find the courage leaves everything blank after the sentence because it could be anything and mean anything for anybody. Find the courage to be yourself. Find the courage to not care what other people think. Find the courage to stand up for yourself. Find the courage to just live your life the way you want to. So there's so many things that I just knew find your courage was, or find the courage was the best message for me at this moment in time. And like a tree that finds the courage to stand out and to grow, even in the harshest circumstances sometimes, I just knew that it was the same for me. Just finding the courage to be who I want to be without having others caring and others giving opinions that are don't matter. One of the last steps that I did is that I wanted to add a few splatters in the background. So I took the white impasto paint and using a paintbrush, I started splattering it to the background. Of course, I had to dilute it first with a little bit of water to make sure that it's not too thick because the impasto paints are pretty thick. So by adding water, it diluted the acrylic paint and I was able to splatter it all over the background. Once I was done, I took the same paintbrush and using some black, I went and I fixed all the areas where I had splattered on top of the tree. So I just repainted the tree with black to make sure that you don't see all those splatters everywhere. Then I thought to myself, why should the tree be black? So I went ahead and took some of the blue color, the cobalt blue, and added a few blue highlights onto the tree to kind of match it to the rest of the background. Then I took the black again and I started creating little wisps at the bottom of the layout to kind of make it look like grass, as if the tree was on top of some really nice thick grass. I just figured it would add a little bit of a realistic touch to an unrealistic layout. So I thought that was perfect for that. I also took my Tombow marker and just highlighted around the words in black so they would stand out a little bit more. Finally, I took the black and I just fixed the borders. I really didn't like that the splatters were everywhere. I wanted to have that black border stand out and frame everything. So I just went ahead and covered the white splatters on the borders with the black paint. And that way it framed everything beautifully. Once everything was dry, I went ahead and popped it back in to my disc-bound art journal from Joggles. Thank you so much for watching and joining us today in this amazing art journaling YouTube hop. For more inspiration, visit all the other videos and hop along so you can see some amazing art journaling pages, and also you can win some amazing prizes as well. Leave a comment on each one of the YouTube videos and subscribe to the channels. That way you can see if you're the winners. The winners will be announced on June 1st, so stay tuned and visit either here on the YouTube channels or on some of the websites to see who the winners are. I would suggest for you to go to each of the websites on June 1st and check if you're the winner. A good way to do that is to subscribe to their newsletters. That way you will find out if the winners are being announced. Thank you so much and have an amazing day. Bye!